Hello, everybody. This is Couch Coaches, the summer edition. I'm your host, Billy Trice, and we have a special guest today, Mr. Tabriz. All right, you hype. Mr. Tabriz Bumpus, one of my best friends. So tonight we're gonna talk about just our reactions to the game 6 against with Golden State Warriors and the Houston Rockets. Golden State Warriors won 115 to 86. So I think I'll go first. Just my reactions on the whole game. Golden State in the beginning, they didn't play well. They had some trouble. Couldn't find a way to shoot. Houston played magnificently on all ends. They played well on the defensive end. They really were frustrating Golden State. They also played well on the offensive end. They were hitting a lot of shots, contested and wide open, which is really key and led to their 10-point lead in the first half. Things of that nature really led to Houston having that lead in the first half. Then when the second half comes, you see Steve Kerr made a lot of adjustments, kind of took the ball out of KD's hands a little bit and gave it to Clay and gave it to Steph a little bit more. And those two guys got hot. Clay had 35, Steph had 25, I think. Those guys being hot really propelled this team to their win. And also, Golden State played well on the defensive end. They forced a lot of turnovers throughout the game, but Houston did also give up the ball just by themselves with unforced turnovers and James Harden pushing off and offensive fouls and things of that nature, and them just not being in sync in the second half led to their demise and led to them falling 115 to 86. But, that's just my overview of what I thought happened throughout the game. Just tell the people what, you thought.
All right, so this is going to be, like similar to what you said.
Yeah.
So, first half.
Great minds think alike, right?
Yeah. So, so first half, what I basically took away from it was I definitely took stock of what was going on. So, definitely Houston was up 10 points.
Right.
Half, that's great, But I thought it was a little bit of fool's gold. Being that, okay, so let me break it down a little more for you. So, fool's gold being that Houston was hitting, 3-point shots? They were just hitting their shots.
Yeah.
They hit, 7? How many 3-points they had? 7 or 11?
Yes. Yeah, 7 of 11.
And Golden State, their offense was basically deferring to Kevin Durant the entire time. And Kevin Durant was, I think, 3 for 11, 7 of 8 from the free throw line.
He first half he didn't play well.
13 points?
Yeah, 13 points.
I feel like that's the reason why
Steph had like 12 or 13.
He didn't have a lot of shots.
Yeah, true.
I feel like the reason they were up at half because they were hitting their shots and Kevin Durant was not delivering for Golden State. That's literally what happened because they had the same problems. We're not hitting the boards. They were turning the ball over, taking dumb shots, but they were making them. Mm-hmm. And then Golden State was just going towards Kevin Durant, slowing the game up too, not playing their pace.
Well, yeah, and definitely another key to why Golden State won. They won the rebounding battle. 21 to 12? Sorry, my fault. 47 to 38. I don't know how Golden State's smaller than Houston.
They play smaller.
Yeah, they play smaller. So I don't know how you let a team out rebound you by that much.
I didn't even realize that was going on. Stats.
Yeah, that's bad.
I almost had 50 rebounds on them.
Clint Capella, he's had 15 boards, but he can't do it by himself. Other guys have to grab boards and get down there and crash the boards. That's how you stop second chance points and stop fast break points by grabbing rebounds, slowing the pace down, and running your offense. But go ahead, I didn't mean to cut you off. Go ahead, bro.
No. That's basically also the key of the game is like possession. They need to win the possessions of the game. They can't turn the ball over. They cannot give up the boards. They have to get. Those are the extra shots that they need to beat Golden State. Golden State shot 11 more shots than them.
Right.
That's all I can say. And they made 10 more shots than them. If you cut that down, it's a close game.
Yeah, true.
And if you make a couple free throws, like Aaron Gordon made those free throws at the third quarter, it's a close game.
That is true.
Yeah. But I feel like you can attribute to like the second half performance of the Rockets to fatigue. The first half they were making the shots. They were fresh.
Yeah.
When you're not fresh, what do? Shots come short. You make dumb plays. You don't play defense.
You start shooting the ball more than you driving the ball.
Exactly. That's exactly what they fell into.
Settling for shots, bad shots.
Falling for fool's gold. That's why I was saying the first half was fool's gold, low key for the Houston Rockets.
I was a little scared for Golden State.
I wasn't sold on the guy. I told you the third quarter was going to win the game.
You definitely did say that.
Sold on the first
you definitely did say that.
And I win the third quarter with Golden State.
I was a little scared. I was like, "Ooh, they're hitting a lot of shots. If they can sustain this, it might be bad."
Nah.
I didn't know if they could or
if
not.
they can sustain it. That's
Right.
the thing.
Facts.
And also, what they're missing was Chris Paul, who has been typically closing these second halves. The last 2 games they won, he dropped, what was it, 20 points in the second half? 22 and then 23?
Yeah.
That's a lot of offense you got to make up for. Yeah. If you're tired, you're just going to not gonna make
But that's a lot to put on Chris Paul. Granted, he can handle it, but somebody else has to step up. You don't have.
You know who
they
that
knew
is?
they didn't have Chris.
Who's that going to be? It's going to be James Harden.
Well,
He did not step up in the second half, in my opinion.
James has struggled this whole series, though. If we're going to be completely honest, he hasn't shot the ball
In the second half. The first half, he's been playing fairly well.
Not
this
really.
first half he had 22 points.
No, yeah, this first half he played
The first
well.
half before he had 20-some points the first half, too.
Yeah, but he's taking a lot of shots, though. We're looking at his points, yes, but he's also taking a lot of shots.
No, but he missed 1 free throw. He missed
this game, yes, he did play well in the first half. But for the most part,
volume scoring.
Yeah, exactly. He's been shooting a lot, and that's why he's been getting those points. But he hasn't really been playing efficiently.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So James Harden has to find a way to get back on track, to get back to the MVP playing the way he was playing during the season and in the last few playoff series. He's got to get back to being that guy, and I don't know what it is. I don't know if it's Clay being that good of an on-ball defender or if it's the Warriors just getting in his head, but he has to figure something out, and very quick, because if he doesn't, they're going to lose Game 7.
Yeah, games.
That's just a fact. But speaking of Game 7, let's foreshadow into a little bit. What do we think is going to happen in Game 7? What are your predictions? Who do you think is going to win? Who's somebody we should be watching for Game 7?
Well, let's just make a disclaimer. I feel like what's very important about Game 7 is if Chris Paul doesn't play, and with what capacity he can play for you.
Sure.
Let's just say that out front.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like Chris Paul has got to play Game 7 to the caliber or somewhat caliber he's been playing this entire series. He's got to give him something.
Yeah. I just don't know, because the hamstring, those hamstrings are tricky, man.
Yeah.
And it's not like a knee where you kind of
can play through it, or an ankle you play through it, or
This is like the main thing that lets you run and twitch and
jumping. It's a fast pace.
And that can also affect your shot. You can't also elevate as you normally would. So everything is affected when shooting. So your legs, where your arms are at, your feet,
defense,
everything is relevant when talking about shooting and scoring and playing the game. So if your hamstring isn't right and it's kind of off a little bit, you might not get that same release that he always gets, and you might not be able to score. So it's gonna be interesting to see.
But I'm not gonna put it past Chris Paul to play hurt through.
Oh no!
Because he's done it before.
Oh yeah, facts.
Bro, like I remember a couple years ago, was it like 2016?
Right, against the Spurs.
Right? Was the second round? It was the first round. Actually.
First round.
He was exact same situation. Game 7, hobbled on the hamstring or a leg injury of some very similar sort. Mm-hmm. Played well that game. And I specifically remember he hit the series winning shot.
I do remember that.
Right over Tim Duncan, off one leg. Put it up.
But I think if I'm not mistaken, it might have been an ankle, and those are kind of easier to play.
I'm just saying he's played through.
And
played well.
Yeah, Chris Paul's definitely a tough guy. He's a tough guy. It's gonna be hard to keep him out of this game.
Exactly. This is his first conference finals. He's gonna let this go.
But definitely. But here's the thing. D'Antoni has to make the decision of whether him being on the floor is hurting the team or is it
a benefit.
Mm-hmm. Because if I'm Golden State, I'm going after Chris. I want to see how much pain he can take, how healed up that hamstring is, and how that hamstring is really feeling. And I'm going to go right at him, and I'm going to make him drive, and I'm going to make him go past me and use that hamstring as much as possible. I'm not letting Chris Paul shoot. I'm going to make him put that ball on the floor. I'm going to make him drive past me. I'm going to make him use that hamstring as much as possible, because it's a liability. He's a liability right now. If I'm Golden State and I'm looking at him, he's a liability in my eyes, and I'm going after him and I'm attacking him. That's what you have to do.
Okay. Well, that's definitely a strategy that I think that will be very beneficial to the Golden State, and that proved like a victory for Game 7. But I mean, just like as far as like X factors and how we can think who's going to be like the turning point of this Game 7. And for me, okay, disclaimer: if Chris Paul doesn't play Game 7, they're not winning. If he doesn't play Game 7,
oh yeah.
So honestly, up to this point, I feel like the X factor for the Rockets, who is the person who got turned the momentum of the series, or like was a pivotal part in turning momentum, was Eric Gordon.
Yeah, man, that
he came in the game. What was it, Game 5? He had like six straight points off.
Yeah, just hitting everything.
Yeah,
bro.
exactly.
And also, a low-key sleeper is Green off the bench. When he's been put into situations, he's hit a lot of buckets and been hitting phenomenally from the three-point line. He's also been a little X factor and playing solidly on the defensive end. They kind of needed that. The Houston needed to find somebody on their bench, right, on their bench who could come off and just give them some type of production,
energy, some defense,
something,
a couple shots,
and he's definitely been there for them. Me personally, if I'm going to talk about an X factor for Game 7, I think it's going to be Kevin Durant, and not so much Kevin Durant scoring, Kevin Durant passing and facilitating. Kevin Durant has not had a lot of assists throughout this whole series. He even won a game without having a assist. My key for Game 7 is Kevin Durant playing his game and getting his shots, but also getting shots for his teammates, which he kind of did a little bit more tonight. And just getting his teammates more involved, because when you get those guys more involved and you get other guys scoring the basketball, also it makes it easier on you, and it's less pressure that you have to have on yourself. It's less shots that you have to make because those other guys are helping you out. And it's not like he doesn't have the help. Those guys are capable of making shots like that. Clay, Steph, all those
they're Hall of Famers.
Right, Draymond. Those guys are able to make shots. He just has to have faith in them, and if they don't hit the shot, don't go away from them. Let them keep shooting. Shoot or shoot. As the great shooters like to say, shoot or shoot.
And this is what I want to say about KD. This is why he came to Golden State.
Oh yeah.
These moments right now, he want to come. So if they lose,
he's had a little Russell Westbrook syndrome though.
If they lose and he's holding the ball, that's not a good look for his legacy. Because you just lost the way that you've been losing because someone else did the exact same.
Right. That's
gonna be very, very. I feel like this right here is his legacy. Like this is a turning. This is a legacy moment right here. If he loses this game,
if he finds a way to defer a little bit more, get him more assists, but still get his points.
Yeah, no, he's gonna get his points. He's gonna get.
He had a quiet 23 tonight, and
I didn't know he was on the court.
Well, I knew he was on the court, but yeah. But like, you didn't think he had 23. So KD's gonna score. He's a scorer. He has to be just more a little bit. I feel like he needs to be a little bit more conscientious of facilitating a little bit more and getting his teammates more involved, because he kind of gets a little tunnel vision sometimes, like James Harden does too. James Harden's a culprit of that too.
But that may have been by design. You don't like that may have been isolated by design for him.
Yeah,
they switched off on him. The Rockets are switching.
They are, yeah. And to be honest,
a couple times that was James Harden guarding it too.
That's another key that I feel like needs to happen for Game 7. Clay needs to fight over the screen every time. When he's guarding James Harden, fight over the screen. Steph, hedge over a little bit, then get back to your guy. That worked for them a few games ago in this series. Clay was hedging. Clay was fighting over. Steph hedged over a little bit. James Harden was a little flustered. Then Steph got back to his man. Yes, it did lead to some open cuts and easy layups, but it wasn't leading to Steph Curry going on a dance with James Harden and getting a three smacked in his face. So I kind of rather would take that backdoor cut for a layup than a three being shot in my face every time. So I that's just me personally. I feel like that's what they have to do on the defensive end.
But that does also lead up to a few weak points. So if you're gonna drive the ball, that opens up a couple of different scenarios. You can either kick out to a three, and the Rockets have plenty of shooters. Kick out to a shooter, but you can draw a foul or get a putback, offensive. And that also comes down to how the rest are gonna call Game 7.
That is true, but that's also where rotational defense comes into play. Mm-hmm. You have to be on your rotations, so that's going to be a part of it. That's just defensive strategy. So yes, guys are going to be open, but if somebody's on the 3-point line, they catch the ball, you run out to them and make them drive. The key is not to let them hit threes. Golden State finds themselves in a lot of trouble because they'll let the Rockets hit wide open threes or get wide open threes.
Well, the first half they were not hitting wide open threes. There were threes.
Some of them were wide open, but yeah, some of them. You're right. Most of them were contested. That's why I was kind of scared because I was like, they were hitting contested shots. Like, sheesh.
You gotta wait till the third quarter. Third quarter's gonna win these.
Yeah, you're right. But you know, I don't know. But moving on. So let's get a little score prediction. What are you thinking here?
Shit. All right.
What is on your mind?
Houston game. Okay, so if Chris Paul plays,
right?
He's playing. This is my prediction. He's playing.
Mm-hmm.
So Chris Paul playing. He's game 7. It's home. It's Rockets. I say you got the Warriors on the road. They're a good road team. I say it's close, but I say it's 101, 96. Rockets. Rockets going to bro.
All right, I can't be mad at that. That's
that's
plausible. That's plausible.
I had them win in 6.
Right.
So if I might as well stick to my choice. Guys said they're gonna win the series.
That's plausible. Well, I picked Golden State to win. I think I said 6. Yeah, I thought they were gonna win in 6, but clearly I was wrong too. But going to this game 7, I'm gonna take Golden State. I'm gonna say 102 to 95. That's even when Chris Paul's playing because those hamstrings are tricky and they're hard to play through and they're hard. It's gonna be difficult. I'm not saying he's not gonna play because I definitely think he is, and I know it's gonna be hard, but I know he's gonna do it. But I think Steph's has found his rhythm. Is definitely shooting the ball a little bit better than he was before. I think KD's gonna look at this past game and see how his facilitating propelled their win, and I think he's gonna be more conscientious on the floor. I think he's gonna give the ball up a little bit more, less iso ball, more moving the ball, and just getting a wide open shot. How they won last year. I think that's the same thing that they're gonna do on Monday, and I think they're gonna win. So. I want to thank you guys for watching. Please subscribe. Please like. Please watch more of my other videos.